level 3.2, right hand position on the acoustic guitar. And so with my acoustic players, I'm going to have them float their hands over the strings by about a 1/4 inch, and we're going to position the hand halfway over the sound hole and halfway over the wood, like I've got it here. This decoration here is called a rosette, so the center of the hand is going over the top of that rosette. You're going to get the best tone there. Now we're doing this in such a way that we preserve this angle right here. Notice that my forearm all the way down to the tip of the thumb to the end of the thumb is a nice straight line, and it's about a 45-degree angle. You can go plus or minus a few degrees if you want to. You don't want to do this, that's too extreme. You don't want to do that, that's too extreme. But just imagine cutting from corner to corner, and then your hand is splitting, running a diagonal line across the strings. And by doing that, you're playing to your strength, by what nature has given you, a nice straight wrist. And then when you turn it to the side, as an acoustic player, you're going to float your hand about a 1/4 inch off the strings, about like I've got right there. There's a tendency to want to rest your palm up against the wood, but look what it does to my wrist. It bends it. And then some players want to bend their wrist this way. And that's not good because that's very weak in that position. So the best thing to do is to rest your entire hand up against the strings and then just lightly lift them, and that puts you in the perfect position. Now that we're in position, we can work on our down and up strokes. Notice that the motion comes from the wrist. That's my pivot point right there. You don't want to move from the elbow. You don't want this. When we strum, we can do this. But for playing individual notes, we move from the wrist. That's less rotational mass. This is too much rotational mass. You can't generate a whole lot of speed like this on single notes. But if you play it like this, you can generate plenty of speed. Next, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to show you the angle of the pick. Providing that you're holding the pick properly and you're maintaining that 45-degree angle, the pick will also maintain the 45-degree angle. And what that means is when you play a downstroke, the front of the pick is going to attack the string. And then when you come back with the upstroke, the back end of the pick is going to play the string. And so you have this carving action with your down and upstrokes. So I'm going to hold the pick this way so you can see that carving action. See the head of the pick or the front of the pick? It plays the downstroke. And then look at the back end of the pick here. It performs the upstroke. And that's what happens when you pivot your wrist up and down. You end up with that type of attack across the pick. You don't want this. You don't want a flat pick because you have 2 points of contact. But when you tilt it this way, you only have 1 point of contact. And so that's very efficient. It's very slippery, but once you learn how to control it, it's very fast. On our first exercise, we're going to play 8 notes per string. And to do this, we have to cross strings. Now, we talked about pivoting the wrist when we play individual notes. But when we cross from string to string to string, we don't pivot our wrist to change strings. We move the entire hand up and down like this. And I'm just moving my elbow up with my shoulder so that I can maintain the same angle of attack. Notice this same diagonal against the string. On the bottom, in the middle, it's the same. And up on the top, it's the same. And that's because I'm moving the entire hand. I don't want you to pivot your wrist like this to play different strings because it's going to lose that angle of attack. This angle is not the same as this angle. And so it's much more efficient if you move the entire hand to preserve that angle of attack. So I'm going to back up here and I'm going to play a couple of notes per string so you can watch the motion from a distance. And then from the side, see how I used the pivot to play individual notes, and then I just slid my hand up and down to change strings. Okay, it's time for our first exercise. We're going to focus on alternate picking. Very important. This is going to help us to build speed in our picking. If you just play all downstrokes, you're never going to build speed. Down and up strokes are the key to speed. And so in this exercise, I want you to focus on alternation. Use very tiny movements also. You don't want to take giant arcs. That's slow and inefficient. So try to work on very small movements. Listen to what you're playing. Make sure that your downstrokes are equal to your upstrokes in volume as well as distance. That'll keep you from wobbling in your technique. You can play along with me, or you can wait till the exercise is over and then play by yourself. The main thing is play to your ability. It's better to play slow without mistakes than it is to try to keep up with me and make mistakes. All right, I'm going to give an 8 count and begin. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very good. You can make this part of your daily practice routine. I just want you to play this exercise a whole lot. You'll get so good that you'll be able to play without looking at your strings. And then in future levels, we're going to be using this to learn scale technique. And that's coming up in the next couple of levels.